Hello and welcome to day 7 of Maimonides on Teshuvah. We're making good progress through our 40 days of repentance and gearing up for Yom Kippur in a brand new year. Okay, so these two halachas are very brief. They deal with timing. So halacha 2.6. Even though Teshuvah and crying out in prayer are always good, the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are exceptionally valuable. These are obviously the period of time called the Aseres Yemei Teshuvah, the 10 days of Teshuvah, or the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe, the days of, I guess awe is probably the best translation. Nora can also mean like awe in the sense of being afraid, like, oh my gosh, I really got to get my act together, that kind of thing. Anyways, during those days, these 10 days of repentance that go from Rosh Hashanah through Yom Kippur, the 10 days inclusive, one's prayers are accepted immediately. As it is written in Isaiah, seek out God when God is found, call out to God when God is close. Meaning these are the days when God is especially receptive to our prayers. The Hasidim have a beautiful expression, the king is in the fields, meaning that, you know, when you want to go see the king, it's not impossible, but it's a big hassle. You've got to make an appointment, you've got to stand in line, you've got to, make sure you meet the right people in advance. But during the month of Elul in particular, the month leading up to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, the king, as it were, goes out into the fields and meets the working people where they are, actually in situ. And that's the idea of these 10 days of Teshuvah, that this is a time when it is especially misugal, when it's especially the constellations are aligned for effective prayer. This applies when one is praying alone. When one is praying in a community, however, any time that people do teshuvah and cry out with a full heart, they are answered. As it is written, a people to whom God is close, as is the Lord our God, whenever we call out to God. This is an amazing concept, this last part here, that we in the Jewish community, we spend a tremendous amount of time and energy thinking about the value of the Yomim Noraim, of the high holidays, and I'm going to get my act together in time for that kind of thing. But in reality, Maimonides is saying you can have exactly that same level of closeness to God anytime you pray with a community. The communal activity in general is what makes it happen. That's an amazing concept. I have a good joke about that, but I want to keep these lessons very short, so I'm just going to go straight forward. Okay, halacha 2.7. Yom Kippur is a day of teshuvah for all, both individuals and communities. It is the ultimate day of forgiveness and pardon for the Jewish people. Therefore, everyone is obligated to do teshuvah and confess on Yom Kippur. That is like National Repentance Day number 1. The commandment to confess begins on the eve of Yom Kippur, before the meal prior to the fast, lest one choke before one has the opportunity to confess. Meaning, since we talked about at the very beginning of this series, the Maimonides referred to confession as the opening up of the conduits that are necessary for effective teshuvah, then the Maimonides says, based on the Talmud, that you really got to do this right up until the last minute before Yom Kippur begins, because who knows? Life can be paralyzingly short. We simply don't know when, God forbid, something terrible could happen. So therefore, even on the eve of Yom Kippur, do confession, even though you intend to confess throughout Yom Kippur itself. Even though a person confessed before that afternoon meal, one must confess again during the evening prayer of Yom Kippur, and then confess again at the morning prayer, the additional Musaf prayer, the afternoon prayer, and the concluding Ne'ilah prayer. How is this done? An individual confesses at the end of the prayer, and the prayer leader confesses in the middle of the prayer during the fourth blessing. These are more technical laws. You have to be familiar with the structure of Hebrew prayer, but basically he's saying that during the section of the prayer called the Amidah or the Shemona Esrei, that's when the individuals who pray all together in a group confess at the very end of their prayers, whereas when the cantor, the Chazan, repeats the prayer, the repetition of the confession will occur in the fourth blessing. Okay, that's it for today. Look forward to speaking with you tomorrow.